Hello and welcome to my post-market recap. It is Tuesday, January 23rd, and I'm going to briefly walk us through the trade day today. I posted a pre-market analysis this morning, and then I also posted a live trade session that I had with myself. I took an L during that live trade session, nothing crazy. It was like 23 points, I believe. Yeah, 23 points. Ultimately, that L resulted in me just not being patient and waiting for price to actually pull back down into my area of interest. I went ahead and if you did watch that live trading call, I went ahead and I marked out a hypothetical trade that I would have taken if I wanted to enter in another trade, because price did in fact come down into my area of interest, but I just wasn't certain. And I'm practicing not taking trades if I'm just not certain. Like if I just genuinely don't know, it doesn't make sense for me to be in a trade. In fact, I should not be in a trade. I feel like when it comes to trading, it's hard to be 100% certain 100% of the time. But I think that if you have your confluences and price matches up with your confluences, then you can take calculated risks. But when it comes to being confused, I have no interest in being in the market if I'm confused and I'm unsure of what price is doing. So that's how I felt after I took the loss. But I did mark out this hypothetical trade if I actually were to hop in another trade. I think I placed it right here. And would you look at that? TP was hit towards the end of the day, which I wasn't in this trade, so coulda, shoulda, woulda. But I do like the fact that my analysis did play out, even though I didn't enter in a trade and I took an L today. But let's walk through why I took an L today and why hypothetically I hopped into this and ultimately, again, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but why this actually ended up playing out. So if I go to the 1 hour, for me, we're still bullish. And I mean, end of day kind of signified that, and beginning of this like Asia session right here, because it swept the most recent high. Dropping down to the 15-minute, I saw that this small inefficiency was not filled in pre-market. And ultimately, if price swept down to sweep these liquidities at the open, one of my setups looks for sweep of liquidity of pre-market, low of day or high of day, and just like these key areas of liquidity to then go up to fill the inefficiencies that are left in pre-market. And that's exactly what price did. But when I entered in my trade, this had not been filled yet. And so I actually entered in off of the 1 minute. And this is where I made the mistake of not waiting for price to pull into my area of interest. I got a bit impatient, not gonna lie. So this was my entry right here on the 1 minute. This is what I wanted price to come back into. This I marked, this is like a 5-minute fair value gap, I believe. What is that? No. One. It's gotta move. Okay, I had this marked right here. There we go. So this is a 1 minute fair value gap, and this is a 1 minute order block that I liked to see. Price ended up pulling back into that exactly. If I would have entered in here, I would have put my stops below here and would have never been stopped out. But I entered in here because I just didn't anticipate price coming back down into this area, and I wanted to ultimately get in, which is the mistake that I made. I made the mistake of wanting to get in and allowing that to overpower like my actual rules when it comes to my entry types. So I got in here. I ultimately was stopped out at this candle because I put my stop loss like over below this low, but ultimately that was another mistake. I should have placed it under these lows because again, I wanted price to pull back into this area, but that just would have been way too big of a stop loss. So I didn't do that and was eventually stopped out around here. Now, why I was a bit confused is because on the 5-minute, we had a break of structure to the downside and price swept all of these liquidities, pre-market, low of day. This is like a 15-minute liquidity sweep. And so we had that. So I was like, is price using this 5-minute fair value gap that we also had? Right here, I'm just going to move this. I thought price was potentially using this 5-minute fair value gap or this 5-minute order block here to sell down. And so I was just a bit confused. So that's why I didn't enter into the second trade. And then on the 15-minute, we also had a break of structure to the downside. We were bearish technically on the 15-minute. So I was like, I'm already lost one trade. I'm going to sit on my hands. I'm going to hypothetically, again, take a long on this position. And if it plays out, great. Then I know what I'm doing ultimately. So that's what ended up happening. Again, took a small L today, nothing crazy, 23 points. I'm so happy that I'm recording this in video format so I can see my thought process, my confusion, maybe where I'm getting stuck. I highly recommend if you are someone who has a hard time committing to journaling, like writing, or journaling, like typing, take video of yourself, because when I type out that just would have been so much to type out. Like I would not have gone that in depth in like an actual, like my TradeZella or in my notes or whatever. So what I'm actually going to be doing is saving these YouTube videos and just copy pasting the link to my pre-market analysis, my live trades, and my post-market recap, and just posting that into my TradeZella on my specific trades. So then I can go back and actually walk through my thought process of my pre-market analysis when I take the trade live, and then my post-market recaps. So tidbit, if you are someone who struggled with staying committed to journaling and you want to do it and you want it to be thorough, I highly recommend doing these videos. So yeah, that's my post-market recap. I see where I went wrong. Ultimately, it just came down to me not being patient. And then in addition to that, I will say I was a bit confused. So I am proud of myself for not taking the trade, but it ended up playing out. So again, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It is what it is. So yeah, that is my post-market recap for today. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, for my pre-market analysis. So until then, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you are finding it as helpful as I am for myself. And again, I invite you to, even if you're not posting it publicly to YouTube, just to start recording yourself, because I'm finding it so valuable. And this is like only day 2, which is crazy. So yeah, that's it. See you tomorrow for my pre-market analysis, live trade call, and my post-market recap. Bye.